And now, here's your host, Nicole Monique.
Hey everybody, and welcome to That's What She Said Sports. I'm your host, Nicole Monique. Just recently, we had the opportunity to tape 2 shows at Benchwarmers Sports Grill here in Atlanta. We had fun. We had everything you could want: sports, food, and fun. So take a look and let us know what you think. And remember, you can always hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, and our website. And I want to welcome everybody to That's What She Said Sports, and I'm your host, Nicole Monique. And one of the favorite parts of the show is a segment that I like to call Real Sports Talk with Real Fans. So today we have John, who is a 49ers fan. John. We also we also have Al. He told me not to say it, but I have to. He's a Dallas Cowboys fan. Let him hear it. Yeah, let him hear it.
All right.
I know. And then we have Derek, who is a Falcons fan, and he is not jumping on the bandwagon. He did like them when they were losers. So I just wanted to put that out there. I just wanted to put a disclaimer out there. All right? So what we like to do is, on That's What She Says Sports, we like to talk about what's hot and what's not as far as topics. That's what happened when you tape live. All right, so one of our first topics I want to talk about is Lance Armstrong. As you know, he's been in the news. Lance has lost, I think, everything at this point. I think I have more sponsors than Lance at this time. He's lost, 7 Tour de France titles? Mm-hmm. And I think the one thing that really upset me about this, and I remember tweeting about this for a while, is the president of the UCI, which is the Union Cyclists International, they actually made the comment, Pat McQuaid actually made the comment that Lance Armstrong deserves to be forgotten. And I thought that was deep, deserves to be forgotten. If we think about all the other athletes who've done something in other sports, and don't get me wrong, I'm not condoning what he did. I truthfully don't even know if he did it or whatever, but I just thought that was deep, saying that he deserves to be forgotten. And I wanted to know from the panel, as far as, do you think Lance, as far as the Live Strong, his charity, could actually even come back strong?
It's going to be difficult because of the fact that there's so much rhetoric about this doping, and when you even look at baseball, you hear about the guys taking steroids and things like that. It's
right.
Just so difficult for people to accept that. So I think it's going to be very difficult for him to come back and his organization to come back because people look at it as being tainted. Right.
But then I also look at, I guess for me, and no offense to Lance and cycling, but honestly, without Lance Armstrong, would we even know about the Tour de France? I mean, is there ever a season where everybody says, I can't wait to get my Tour de France on? Am I the only one?
And that's just it.
Right.
Because cycling during his time was one of those sports where it was intercontinental.
Right.
I mean, other teams from other countries participated in it. They lost out money. And here he was doping the whole time.
Right.
So he was basically the Ben Johnson, doping for all those years, getting all of that money.
Yeah.
And those guys were getting left out. So, of course, he really needs to be forgotten.
Yeah.
He fooled the world.
Yeah, but I guess for me, it's just deep to say needs to be forgotten. That means Barry Bonds needs to be forgotten. There's a lot of athletes. If that's the case, Mike Vick needs to be forgotten. There's a lot of athletes who've done stuff. So that piece was deep to me.
Here's the thing. This day and age in sports, the body and the athlete is being pushed to the brink. There's no time like these times for as the athlete and the body. So I think as sports fans and people that we need to maybe not accept, but we need to get used to the fact that people are going to use supplements because the athletes, there's a fine line between greatness and the people that are not great.
Right.
And so it's such a thin line. And I think we're just going to have to get used to it.
All right. So with that, I want to take us in. As you guys know, the NBA season just started the other night. So, so I wanted to ask you, because there's a lot of NBA stuff I want to bring up. But first I want to ask you, obviously, the Heat. We got to talk about them. As far as LeBron, that first night, I think I saw 800 LeBron James commercials. So obviously everybody loves him now. So do we think that LeBron and the Heat can actually repeat the season?
Yes.
I heard a no from the crowd. That's what you said, John?
Yes, most definitely. If you look at the East is really hurting as far as teams that are upper echelon in the NBA. You have Indiana, Boston, maybe Chicago. But Boston, they regrouped. They stacked up. Ray Allen's on the outside. If you double team LeBron, Rashard Lewis. So LeBron is better. So I think the Heat are better.
Okay. So you're saying LeBron is better with
LeBron
Allen?
is better.
Okay.
He's added various moves to his game. The post game is better. The jump shot is better. Plus the monkey's off his back. He's gonna have to think about what he's doing. Or
He's got that one.
Yeah, he's really playing. He's playing for the level of the game, which is gonna make him play better.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing. I mean, because he doesn't have that pressure sitting on him now. He's got that already off, and that was the mental part that he was missing for so long. So now that he got that taken care of, it's downhill from here.
But there'll always still be that pressure, though, because now it's the fact of, can he get Jordan-like? I mean, he's got the one, and that's nice, but is he ever going to get 6 or more than 6?
But it's your first one that's the hardest.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think that with LeBron James, he's an excellent athlete.
Right.
He's a Megatron in basketball. I mean, he's a beast. But the thing about it is that he's got to make everybody else around him better. They're getting older. They're picking up a lot of guys who are getting older. They're good role players, but he's going to have to make sure he makes other players around him who are younger better. And the only thing that's going to hurt them this year is if they get hurt themselves and beat themselves. And then they don't really have that low post threat. And I know people say, well, they really don't need a low post threat.
Right.
But you will need that because all that going to the hoop, the he and Flash are doing, just driving to the hole all the time, they're going to mess around and get hurt. And they need to rely on somebody on the post to be able to help that game out.
Right. All right, so let's move on because I have a serious question here, and I also want to hear it from the crowd. Are the Lakers the Dancing with the Stars of the NBA? And that's a serious question. The reason I ask that is because it seems like the Lakers are where old and injured players go to die. Yeah. And they're already 0-2. Yeah. So,
Season's over.
I mean, seriously, does it put more pressure 0-2 on Kobe or on Mike Brown, the coach?
I think it's going to be on Mike Brown because I don't think he's a great coach anyway.
Well, obviously, he didn't necessarily win in Cleveland, I'm just saying.
But it's going to be difficult for them because they are old.
Right.
I don't think their bodies are going to be able to take that season, that pounding that whole year long. And Steve Nash is, 45? So it's going to be tough on them. And Kobe is no spring chicken either.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike Brown, he's the Barry Switzer, of the NBA right now.
Right.
I mean, he inherited a team that was supposed to be great, and they're trying to put people on there, from a roster standpoint that used to be great.
Right.
And it just doesn't seem like they're going to be able to get over that hump.
Yeah. Yeah. What you think, John?
Well, having talent is half the battle, and they do have talent. You can't deny that. And I think being seasoned and being old is not quite bad.
So when you say they have talent, who's that talent? I mean, you think it was good they brought Dwight in?
Oh, most definitely. How could you not be good with Dwight? I mean, you add in.
So Dwight's a better center. He's better than Andrew Bynum.
I would say yes. Defensive presence in the low post much better than Bynum. Is able to go up and down the floor better than Bynum. Bynum's a little banged up on his knees. I feel like Kobe's not going to let those guys lose. I mean, he's been there. He's done that. And I think that in the end, that's going to endure. They're going to get over that hump. And the West, if you look at the teams, just look.
Right.
They have nobody to really beat except for OKC.
Right.
Other than that, I think it's a shoe-in for them.
All right.
In the
You can't forget about Popovich and the wizard over there on the West.
Yeah, but everybody in his team's 100 years old, right?
Yeah, but they're bringing in, they're mixing in those younger guys too. And
Okay.
I think he does a better job of mixing those young guys in.
It's going to take time. No team is going to get put together and it happen.
And
it's going to take time.
And that's just it. Kobe already, he already put a date out there, when he's thinking about, leaving.
Yeah.
So once you mentally already start putting a date out there where you got your bags packed, you're just hanging around.
Yeah,
trying to get
but like we know too, Kobe doesn't like to lose. So, 0-2 for them that's different than other teams. So that's something different. So just recently, the Commissioner David Stern of the NBA has announced that he is retiring in 2014. As we all know, David Stern has been the commissioner for the last 30 years. And it was interesting, looking him up and getting some more information about him. Do you know that he's overseen 4 lockouts, 6 franchise relocations? He also changed the dress code, which that's a whole different topic. But what I thought was interesting, too, is this is actually going to be a sad time for the owners. Because when Michael Jordan first came in his first season, the Bulls were worth $16 million. Can you guess how much they're worth now? $600 million. So during that time, he's helped the owners get at least $12 billion as far as up in the value. So I just kind of want to find out, obviously, wherever David Stern goes, especially Seattle, he gets booed. But, I mean, what do you think this is going to mean for the NBA as far as him being gone? Better, worse, about the same?
It's hard to tell because the commissioner really manages the brand first and foremost, and then really collectively brings those owners around to the good of the brand altogether itself.
Right.
So without that vision, it's going to be hard to say what the NBA is going to look like, in another 15, 20, 30 years.
Right.
So, time is definitely going to tell.
Yeah. Yeah. What you think, Derek?
I think, I go way back, and I think about what the NBA was like before he came along.
Right.
And it was on the
old?
brink of oblivion.
Yeah,
I just
remember?
started watching ball when I was like 5 years old. But, it was on the brink of oblivion before, in the 70s, that's when you saw the championship games being tape delayed.
Right.
And you watch it at midnight because that's how much viewership you got. But he came in at a time where they had a lot of great players who made the NBA what it was. In the early 80s, that's when you start seeing a lot of great players show up and show out. And that's what he really helped brand the NBA by categorizing certain marquee players, with the Dr. J coming in and things of that nature. So he really was a pioneer for the NBA to make it what it is. And I think it's going to take a step back unless he's really had somebody in mind to take over when he leaves.
Right. I mean, he definitely branded the NBA. I mean, he pulled it away to where it's definite stars right now.
Right.
I mean, that's the biggest thing. So, as you all know, this actually just happened. Scottie Pippen has been named the senior advisor to the Bulls. So, my question to you is, do you think Scottie Pippen is going to be better at this job than Michael Jordan is with the Charlotte Bobcats? So, or is that not even? Or is that not, you shouldn't even compare them? Is that two different positions? What do you think?
I mean, right now he has a lot of talent. I mean, so there's nowhere to go but up.
Right. Because his ultimate dream is to be a head coach.
It's not going to be like Charlotte. Yeah. They're a playoff team without him in that position. So he has nowhere to go but up, and I think he'll be fine.
Right.
I have to agree with you.
Yeah, and his ultimate goal, he wants to be a head coach. I mean, it's no secret. I don't know if he'll be head coach of the Bulls, but he definitely wants to be head coach. Al?
Yeah, I mean, I think Scotty's got the heart, to put it in there. It's just going to be one of those things where he's going to have the discipline, to understand that line between used to be great player, need to be that, that next step.
Right.
Because that's where Jordan never really could take that line away.
Right. All right, you guys ready to talk NFL?
Yeah.
Some football?
Let's go.
All right. So my question is, what happened to Andrew Luck? Because he was the phenom who was going to do the end-all, be-all to the NFL. That's all you heard. Andrew Luck. And what I find interesting is in the beginning, he was being compared to RG3, but now all they're doing is comparing that he's doing a better job than Peyton Manning. So what did happen to Andrew Luck? John?
I mean, if you look at it, coming in, he did replace Manning, so probably be more comparison to Manning than RG3. I think that Andrew Luck he's on the right path. I don't see anything he's doing wrong. People get kind of caught up in the numbers. I'd rather have W's than numbers any day.
Right.
So the RG3 thing, I just think perfectly he fits the Washington. I think that Luck fits the Colts. If you look at just as far as what kind of offense they run, it's more of a pro style, not of the Mike Shanahan with the Washington, the West Coast. And I think he's on the path to win a Super Bowl. I have him winning the Super Bowl in his career.
Well, he's definitely doing better than Manning did. When Manning, this time when he was a rookie, he was 1-6. Mm-hmm. We have Luck at 3-4. But I still don't think that he's the end-all, be-all, as everybody was saying when he first came in. I mean, I personally think RG3 is a better quarterback. But I know when they look at, as far as they want somebody staying in the pocket, they want an Andrew Luck.
First of all, Andrew Luck, hands down, was, I think, a lot more polished at Stanford than Peyton Manning was at Tennessee.
Okay.
And I think the quarterbacks of this class, altogether, everyone's getting better, stronger, faster, that kind of stuff. But I think now colleges are preparing more for that pro style early on so that those guys are ready. Now, as far as the institution of Indianapolis, they're not there.
Right.
So for what Andrew Luck is doing with that team right now, they don't have a running game.
Right.
And he's supplying somewhat of a running game at the goal line. So, I mean, and that was something that Peyton wasn't even, looking to do when he came in. So I think
Right.
that, one, RG3, hands down, and this is why he got the Heisman.
Yeah.
Because he was more of a out-of-the-box player than Andrew Luck is a in-the-box player.
Right.
And I think that's where the difference is. And when you have these teams now, well, you got to break down the defenses in a lot of different ways. Sometimes it's with your arm, sometimes it's with your leg.
Now, what about Russell Wilson? What do you think as far as what he's done? I feel like Russell Wilson should be more of a comparison with RG3 than as far as the Luck RG3 comparison.
I think Russell Wilson just out-hustled Matt Flynn in training camp.
Right.
And I think that's what got him back there. Now, they got a standout defense that's giving him the other side of the game
Right.
a lot easier to work with.
When you look at these three quarterbacks, when you look at Russell Wilson, you look at Andrew Luck, and you look at RG3, they're playing three different styles of football.
Right.
And I think Andrew Luck is the boring guy. Nobody's really paying a lot of attention to him because he doesn't play exciting
Yeah.
like RG3 does.
Right.
And RG3 was saying, don't compare me to Cam Newton because they're not similar players. They just happen to be the kind of quarterbacks that will take off and run and do some
Right.
exciting things.
Right.
And so really when you look at Andrew Luck, he's going to be one of those kind of quarterbacks that will sit in the pocket and do the things. It's not going to be exciting. He's not even an exciting interviewer. I mean, he doesn't even get on the, he
Yeah.
doesn't talk a good game. When you have RG3 who will get on the mic and he will talk a real good game,
Right.
he's very intelligent. But Andrew Luck won't say a whole lot. He
Right.
won't even give you any clips to put on news, ESPN.
Right.
So they're looking at him as like, well, he's boring.
Yeah.
Remember how Matt Ryan was when he first came to Atlanta?
Yeah.
Eli
He's
Manning.
Put you to
boring,
sleep.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Matt Ryan put you to
he's
sleep.
going to be a good quarterback, though.
Right. Well, you brought up Cam Newton, so let's talk about him. What is going on with Cam? There's actually a piece that I wrote on my website about Cam Newton as far as in need of a Cam back because what's going on? What's going on in Carolina?
Always been a winner.
Right.
Never lost games. Heisman Trophy winner.
Right, which is that's kind of the resume for a lot of quarterbacks. Right.
So at the end of the day, he had all the talent in the world. It's up here.
Yeah.
So once he gets this figured out, then he can be a leader.
So this isn't just the usual sophomore slump?
No,
I mean, why is it
I
so
don't
different
think this is.
for
I think
Cam?
this is dealing with adversity in your second season,
Okay.
and you're not used to that level of adversity when it's more than just you. And sometimes it has to start with you. You have to have that leadership. Don't come to the podium after you lose your game, counting your toes with your head down. You have to have your chin up and tell people, you know what, we lost, we're going to get better, we got this to do, we got that to do, we'll figure it out. But when
But
you
in all
come to the
fairness,
podium
a lot of
defeated,
people do that.
But-
I mean,
but-
so what makes it different from when Cam does it? Because Michael Vick has done it.
I think it makes it
I
different
mean-
when Cam does it, is when they're down by 3 points and you score and you try to open up your chest.
But that's
what makes it
but on
different.
the same token,
Because
that's
it's
what he's
Holly-
known for,
Well,
though.
no, and that's the style he's got to change. It's not Hollywood. This is a professional
But that can
sport
also
first.
be part of a mind thing too, as far as saying, I know we're losing.
That's what I'm saying.
but
He's got to get this
let
straight
me do
first.
this and try to get back into the game.
You get this straight first, then you're a leader, then you win, then you can open it up.
It's one word: immaturity. He's not mature. Mentally, he's not mature enough to face the adversity, like you said. And number two, he doesn't have evidently the coach to back him. I mean, the team is.
But with that, it sounds like the same argument they tried with Vince Young. So who is mature? Because Vince Young did the same thing. I mean, think about it. Quarterbacks-
RG3 is mature.
Yeah, well, because he's winning and he's giving you ESPN highlights.
Andrew Luck is
Because if
mature.
RG3 wasn't winning, you guys are saying
Russ
he's
Wilson,
immature
he's
too.
mature.
I mean, quarterbacks are divas. So if they don't get their own way, they get like that.
Quarterbacks supposed to be leaders.
Right.
Absolutely.
But,
The team-
what
the
made
team-
the difference from last year when he was leading and he got over 4,000 yards and everything was great? Now that he's losing, he's doing the exact same
Because
thing.
it was a me mentality. My stats look good. I'm a fantasy football,
Guru.
juggernaut.
Yeah.
So he was looking at himself and not the team. Now your sophomore year, people start looking at, okay, we're the W's versus the L's. So now, hey, you got to step up. You got to be a leader, and you got to put the game in your hand. The game starts with the quarterback.
Well, I definitely hear you, but I'm going to agree to disagree. And I guess I just got 2 words for you, Matt Leinart. That's all I'm saying. Matt Leinart. That's all I'm saying. All right, Baltimore Ravens. Ray Lewis, torn tricep. Is he done? Should he retire? What do you think?
It's going to be tough for him to come back because the older you get, it's tougher to heal.
Right.
And get yourself back into shape like you need to be. But I think they have done one of those things where they've relied on those players for so long, and I think it's time for them to go ahead and start rebuilding based on what they already have and start recruiting on that defensive line because it's going to be tough for those guys to come back.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying Ray's done? You guys agree?
I
mean,
It's hard to say that.
It's going to be tough for him.
I mean, he's what, 36, 37?
Yeah.
I mean, but he has the
36.
body of like a 25-year-old.
Yeah.
So
For me, it's hard to see someone. Yeah, very few times you get to watch someone that has changed a position in the game. And Ray Lewis was one of those players that you just love to watch him no matter what team you really rooted for.
Right.
And he gave it 200% every time he stepped on the field. Can he still do it?
Right.
I don't know.
yeah.
But man, he's going to be one of those people everyone will cheer next year if he comes back on the field.
Right.
I
Right.
think he's coming back.
You think he's coming back?
He's not going to let an injury lead it.
Yeah.
If he's going to leave on his turn.
Right. But I definitely can tell you the Ravens are not going to the Super Bowl. I'm just going to put that out there.
No.
Sorry, Ravens fans, but they're not going to the Super Bowl. So our last topic is the Falcons. And this is my question. And people out there who know me know I've never been a strong Falcons fan. Yes, I'm jumping on the bandwagon because it's nice to have a team who wins. But I wanted to ask, are the Falcons the Rodney Dangerfield of the NFL? And the reason I say that is because if it was any other team 7-0, it'd be hype. If San Francisco was 7-0, that's all they would be talking about. If the Colts were if Denver Broncos were 7-0 with Peyton Manning, that's all we'd be talking about. Nobody is talking about the Falcons outside of Derek and Benny, the two people I know who are huge Falcons fans. Other than that, nobody talks about them. So what is it about the Falcons? I mean, we talked about Matt Ryan early on being boring, but what is it? I mean, there's still people out there who think 7-0, they ain't gonna make it. So what is it about the Falcons?
They've got to win a playoff game.
There it is. This is
Okay.
Atlanta.
They've just got to win a
Okay.
playoff game.
This is Atlanta.
Right.
We've all seen it.
Yeah.
Hey, we in the playoffs. What's going to happen?
Right.
We
Well,
making
because
a-
everybody's still feeling the playoff game
we
last year.
making
They
a
got,
run.
what,
What's
2
gonna happen?
points?
The one thing I like about the Falcons, bar none,
Yeah.
is that they're one of the few teams you can look from the owners down to the players. They're a team. They got class. They got structure, foundation, and everybody's focused.
Right, but then they put you to sleep.
Hey.
And they're boring, and we don't have a star.
Hey,
I mean,
you can't talk
and-
about right now. They 7-0.
I know, and that's the thing. Like I said, I'm jumping on the bandwagon. I can admit that. But on the same token, they're boring 7-0. So what do we have to do? I mean, they could be 10-0, 11-0, and people still not talking about them.
I don't know if you can really say they're boring. I mean, they're putting up probably on average more than 30 points a
Just
game.
about 30
Right.
a game.
Their
Right.
defense is damn near shutting people down.
Okay.
I mean, blocking and tackling on both sides of the line, that's not boring. That's football. That's
Right.
good football.
Right.
And they're taking apart people that you would normally think that would show up. I mean, they took Peyton Manning apart.
Okay.
3 interceptions in 1 quarter. Peyton Manning.
Yeah, thanks for letting me relive that.
The
Thank
main
you.
thing about the Falcons is history. Just like you said, they haven't won a playoff game.
Right.
No Super Bowl rings in the history.
Yeah.
And all those teams you named, all the franchises that you named earlier, have multiple Super Bowls.
Right.
So anytime a multiple Super Bowl team, 7-0, 10-0, it's going to be hype.
Well, the poll question that we have on our website right now is who can actually beat the Falcons, looking at the remainder of their schedule. So you have like the Giants, Dallas, Tampa Bay, Detroit. Honestly, the only team I think who could possibly beat them next would be the Giants.
Yeah.
So,
on
would
both
you
sides
agree?
of the ball. That's,
I mean, I truly believe in any given Sunday. I mean, because it's hard to come in week
Right.
in and week out focused.
Yeah.
49ers lost to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Nobody saw that coming. So, I mean, the main thing is going in every week focused, which is hard to do 16 weeks.
Right.
And plus being healthy.
Yeah.
So that's a major part of it.
Right. Okay. All right, guys. Well, our time is up. I want to thank you all. If we can give a big round of applause to John, Al, and Derek for being on the first taping. Again, we are at Benchwarmers in Atlanta. This is That's What She Said Sports. I'm your host, Nicole Monique, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
All right.